Hiya, Tan. I hope you're well. I hope you're keeping well. So you've already seen a video by me, and I was talking about Blood Brothers and the fact you'll be watching a bit and doing several activities around it. But there's just a few things that I wanted to highlight and point you in the right direction of whilst you're watching. First of all, I really want you to think about the role of the narrator. He opens the scene up. What does he tell you about Mrs. Johnston? Why? Why does he do that? Then I'd like you to look at Mrs. Johnston, Mrs. Lyons' relationship. I really want you to focus on how Mrs. Johnston Mrs. Lyons manipulates Mrs. Johnston. Think very, very carefully about that. She uses superstition. She says that if she breaks this, then something bad will happen. The pact that they've made. At the beginning, she manipulates her by suggesting she isn't going to be able to afford to keep these children. And that's right, the socials have already been on you. They're going to be on you again. How are you going to feed another mouth? How is she presented? How is Mrs. Johnston presented? I want you to think very carefully about the fact that Mrs. Johnston has just found herself in a really bad situation with the fact that the father of the children has left. And she's got no other choice. As you further start watching, please look at the close relationship between the boys from the instant they meet. So that's Eddie and Mickey, or Edward and Mickey. So right from that instant bond, they have this fantastic relationship. They admire, respect each other. Eddie wants to be a bit like Mickey. Mickey wants to be a bit like Eddie. They want the freedom. Edward looks up to the swearing, and Mickey looks up to, well, the fact he's shocked by this dictionary. Think about the swearing and all of those things. Here, though, I feel a little bit more like Eddie actually looks up to Mickey and almost desires what Mickey's got more. I want you to think about the fact that Edward lacks so much freedom at this point because of the constant watching by Mrs. Lyons, okay, in this opening section. Also, look at the fact that Mickey has a lot more freedom. He's roaming the streets. Think about his relationship with his siblings. Linda's entrance. Think about Linda. What sort of role does she play early on in the relationship? Because it's very different in the second part of the play. Think about setting. Where is this play being set at first? And where does the play move to in the second half? I'd like your attempt to really think about contextual factors. I've included a slide in every single PowerPoint which should be pointing you out into the key bits, like context for Liverpool and what was happening during the time, recession, the situation with politics and who was in power. And remember that Margaret Thatcher doesn't actually come into power until much closer to the end of the play. So really bear that in mind. I also want you to think about the concept of childhood, media, thinking about technology, thinking about Russell's background, the fact that he was working class, hairdresser, actually left school, went back, and so forth. All of that influences this and makes this whole. But very carefully look at my last PowerPoint slides. It is crucial, year 10, that you do this for me, because we don't want to get a point at next year where I am having to jam a lot into one lesson and cannot give you that support that you will need. Now, hopefully I've pointed you in the direction of some things to think about. I will make another video sort of midweek in which I will give you some answers to maybe some of the things that I've asked you to look at. You can post videos back to me if you want. Comment on my comments box, go and show my homework, put whatever you want on there. But the bottom line is, please watch this. Okay, take care.